Bryant McFadden, former Steelers defensive back, on the position battle he's watching for the Browns against the Eagles.
For me, I transitioned to the defensive side because of the season-ending injury to Martin Emerson Jr., who was a nice partner in crime when you look at what they have in Denzel Ward at the top two cornerback positions for their secondary. Now it's kind of shaking up things a little bit. Greg Newsome, who was the nickel guy, he moved outside, and now Cameron Mitchell, third-year player from Northwestern, is now moving inside. But Kevin Stefanski has already mentioned that he's going to kind of mix up things a little bit to see exactly what gives them the best opportunity to be at their best in the secondary. Because when you look at what Martin Emerson was doing, you didn't question who CB2 was for their defense. And then with his ability to play sound football, it kept Greg Newsome inside. Now Greg Newsome will be an outside guy, and just trying to find that mixture of the next best two guys outside of Denzel Ward is very, very important for this defense. So just seeing how that, plays out throughout the preseason, I think is very, very important.
And again, Dalton, Greg Newsome did play outside. Before they drafted Emerson, they kicked him inside. Reluctant. Cameron Mitchell has struggled a little bit. Miles Harden is a guy who you're starting to hear a little bit about as far as flashing at that position.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Harden was a hard-hitting physical player in college that I really liked watching, and I think you've got guys like him. You've got the veteran Nick Needham, who was signed from the Dolphins. You've got Tony Brown. I think this open cornerback position, I think you're probably going to see a rotation, especially if you're talking about the slot throughout the season. And I think opponents are going to attack it early and often. They attacked the Browns cornerbacks early and often last season. And the one thing I'm curious on is Jim Schwartz going to adjust, because they played as much man coverage as any team in the league last year. Is he going to feel like he has to play it a little bit safer, maybe sit back in more zones this year? Obviously, Ward is one of the best in the business, but Newsome also had his career worst season by our grading last year. So it's a position where all of a sudden you're lacking depth very quickly. They were lacking depth anyway, but now when one of your three starters gets hurt, it becomes an even bigger problem. So this open competition for that, that nickel spot, or if they're going to move Newsome back and forth, or however they're going to do that, it's going to be really important for this defense, because right now I still think it's probably the weakest part of their defense is the depth at cornerback.